Hello guys, Nigel here with you once again, Nigel's Modelling Bench. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome along if you're new to the channel, then please don't forget to hit that subscribe. So we have a new kit review for you today on this sweltering hot Thursday the 10th of July 2025. It's ridiculous, it's just beyond a joke now. I don't like it at all. I don't really feel the cold, but I do feel the heat. Don't like it at all, and sweat lots and there. So and of course it also messes up our modelling, doesn't it, because the glue just dries like that. You open a pot of Tamiya extra thin, it's like, whew, it's like, you know, putting on a bloody gas mask full of gas. And then the paint dries too fast and you get rough furnace surfaces and everything. So yeah, rubbish. Much rather be out in the garage playing with stuff, but then it's too hot for that as well, really. Anyway, enough moaning. This is a review of the brand new Airfix 1/35th scale Alvis FV622 Stalwart Mark II. I just want to start by saying this is not an Academy kit. So yeah, it's been much anticipated. There's been many people waiting for this. I believe many people asked for it. I've watched one review of this kit. I've watched one review all the way through, and that was the review from Moss, because he did the first review. I don't generally watch reviews of kits, but I didn't have it, so I wanted to see what it was like. And having seen Moss's review, the first question I asked myself is, why have Airfix gone to the green plastic? I really don't know. And then having a conversation with Moss yesterday on the phone, he said there's been another couple of reviews gone out and they've really knocked it. So I've had a look at those and I can see why they've really knocked it. And I've got this kit now. It's just arrived. I got it from Jadlam. It was sent from Jadlam yesterday. It's okay, I'm hot and sweaty, my glasses keep sliding down. So it was sent from Jadlam yesterday. Thanks, Matt, thank you very much. They've also included some other little bits and pieces for me to show you going forward, so I'll review those in the next few days as well. They look very nice. But yeah, thank you, Matt. The packaging you did was absolutely superb, mate. He sent me an email and said sorry about the packaging, I'm not usually in there, but he wanted to personally package this and send it to make sure I got it today, and sure enough I got it today. So great. I did have it on pre-order from Hannants, but Hannants didn't seem to have them on. I went to Jadlam's site and saw them, they had them in, and then when I realised that Hannants has actually got them in on the same time, at the same time, so not to worry. I tend to give them both a lot of trade, so no worries there. There's Dottie down there with her squeaky toys. She's been very inactive today due to this stupid heat, so I might have to get the air conditioning out for her tomorrow. But anyway, here it is, 1/35th scale Alvis Stalwart. The box is still sealed. It has just arrived. As you can see, it's still sealed. I'm going to have to cut it open, and the reason I haven't cut it open, yes, you can see there's the D'Agostini Mustang engine there. The reason I haven't opened it is because I'm not expecting this to be a great review. Having watched 3 reviews and 2 of them were not good, so let's wait and see. So join me on the bench, go and grab yourself a beer or a Coke or a glass of water or something to cool you down, ice lolly perhaps, and have a look and see what I think of this model. I'm hoping for the best, but I'm not expecting anything special, to be honest with you. We shall see. Let's get to the bench. Okay, so here we go. So here's the kit. The kit number is A1381, as if you need that. And it is a model kit, as you can see from there. We've got a lovely box art on there, beautifully done. And we can see we've got all the dust and everything around the windows, and all the dust and everything on the suspension. So we've got the tyre treads looking all dusty as well. So very nice. So round here we've got the health and safety warnings. We can see on here it's a 2025 tooling, it's a 2025 decal scheme, so it's a brand new kit. This is something that Airfix do, which I think other manufacturers should also do, but they don't. And what they're doing, they're telling you when the model design and tooling was made. So if this was like a 1997 Reeboks in a new box, it would say 1997 for the tooling, decal schemes and pack would be 2025, and I think that's very honourable of them to do that. So we've got cartograph decals, which is always a good thing. Many manufacturers make a big fuss. BAE Systems is a registered trademark of BAE Systems. End of the box is basically the same artwork as the front. and you can hear when I move this box around, it doesn't sound too promising, does it? And then on here we've got 3 different schemes. So we've got a British Army of the Rhine exercise Spearpoint Crusader, West Germany 1980. And then we've got D Squadron 4th Royal Tank Regiment, British Army of the Rhine, West Germany 81. And then here we've got Royal Army Ordnance Corps, Ludgers Hall Vehicle Depot, England 1969. So these have got the camo, and that's just the plain green. I think it's bronze green, the colour on this one. And then we've got some words there about the actual vehicle itself. So as I said, I'm a bit concerned about the quality of the moulding because I've seen some other reviews, and I'm sure you've seen them too. So let's see what we've got in here. So what I'm going to basically do is not even look at this bag. I'm just going to move that bag over there, okay, and I'm going to get the instructions out. So this will be the instructions and the decals in here. I love the way Airfix put their decals in their instruction manuals so they don't get all damaged, unlike other manufacturers who put them in the bottom of the box face up and then the sprues all run around. So you can see here we've got the decal sheet, which looks very nice. It's cartographed, so it will be. We've got instruments there. We've got some stencils there by the look of it, some number plates for the different models, and then we've got some eyes, some Union flags, Alvis sign there, we've got flammable sign there, we've got some little bits and pieces. So very nicely done, not too glossy, not too matte, not too thick, tiny bits of carrier film, really, really nice. So once again, Airfix 10 out of 10 for your decals. Airfix, you always use cartographed decals basically, and Airfix's cartographed decals seem to be better than cartographed decals. I don't know how they manage it, but they probably are ask for a specification, and that's what they give you. So unquestionably one of the most distinctive military vehicles to ever see British military service, the Alvis Stuart was an extremely capable amphibious 6x6 cargo truck. So there we go. Right, so going over the page, we've got all our hints and tips, you know, study the instructions. If you could hear a buzzing in the background, I'm very sorry, it's a fan to try and keep me cool. So, going straight into the instructions here, we've got to start drilling some holes. So you need to get yourself a 1mm drill and make sure the drill, that's really cool they've done that, to make sure the drill is at that angle. That Sheridan I'm currently doing from Riffield model, they could have done with that because I drilled the holes perpendicular to the surface and then found they needed to be at 90 degrees. And they're doing the same here. So we're going to glue these actual, or cement these actual side parts of the bodywork into the floor. Then we've got to drill some more holes, and they're telling us here to drill them at 40 degrees. So that's very cool. And then we're adding that panel there. So one's the front, one's the back. I'm not sure which is which. I should imagine this is the front. Then we've got seats going together. So there's just the one seat, not two. So we've got a seat going in there, so we've got the frame moulded in one piece, the squab going on, and then the back's going on, and then we've got another seat here. So we've got the back integral with the frame and the base is going on there, and then another one here. So we've got number 6, which is that seat there, so that's number 5 and 6 together. Then we've got a box here, which is a toolbox, lunch box, whatever it is, I don't know, it's some sort of box. But I have noticed it's got a massive sink mark in it on all of them. And then we've got number 7 and number 8 here going in. So we've got the driver in the centre, I'm imagining. Yes, driver in the centre, passengers either side, just like a McLaren F1. Is that the instrument panel, or is that some sort of equipment there? There's another piece of equipment going in there. There's the instrument panel going in the middle, so that's going to sit on top of that piece of equipment there. And then we've got this over here with levers and handles and everything. Used with part E5 in step 75 on page 17. So if you are going to build step 75, so if you are going for this piece here on version B, so that's an antenna base, you're going to use this. If you're going to use part E6 on versions A and C, with that antenna base, you're going to use this radio equipment. So there you are, straight away you're into step 18 and you need to decide where you're what version you're going to do. Some sort of bulkhead going together here. This is the interior of the cab, so that's looking very nicely detailed. They've got colour call outs for all of this, 196 75, I'm not sure what colours they are. It'll probably be in the back of the instructions. 196, 75 is your bronze green. I'm not sure what colour 196 is. We'll have to have a look on our charts, but we'll see. And then here we've got some interior detail, or drilling holes actually, for the interior of the cab. We've got decals there for our fire extinguishers or whatever they are. So the side panels are going on, repeating the same here. So that's the next side panel going on. And then we've got the roof panel going in. We've got more drilling to do. So remember, there's no specific versions mentioned here. So just check that the version you're doing needs these holes drilled. And then we've got the rear bumper, lights and everything going on. And then here's a box here. And this is going to be on the other side of the exhaust. And this is the box here with the exhaust in. So we've got two different versions. We've got twin tailpipes on that one, and we've got the single tailpipe on that one. So we're adding the exhausts. And then we've got this grill going in here, or grating going into the cargo bed. We've got an intake pipe there. Is that for the engine? I'm not sure. And then we've got a rear panel here going in, which is going to fill in the back like the tailgate. Suspension components, shock absorbers going in. They're telling you not to glue them yet. And then we've got all our shock absorbers. Apply glue to the highlighted area shown here. I don't get that. So they're telling us here not to glue them, and then they're telling them here to glue them. Okay, so one, put those shock absorbers up through. Don't glue them. Okay, so what they're basically telling is do not glue these parts, D12, 13 and 14, to the red bit there, which is D30. Slot those up in, and then once they're up in, glue them in there. That's what they're telling you there. Airfix instructions are some of the best out of all the manufacturers. They really are. Some other manufacturers need to take a note out of Airfix's book. So here we've got drive shafts, CV joints, whatever they are. They're going to click in there, so it's going to have steering wheels, is it? I'm assuming it may have steering wheels fit in the correct place, so they're going to go in like that. I'm not sure why they're telling you not to glue it and click it. If the inside of that part is going into the chassis, it won't be able to steer anyway. So not really sure what's going on there. We'll have a look at that when we come to build it, because I will be building this if it's not too bad. So here we've got some little bits and pieces going in here. There's Dottie having a little choke. So we've got some greeblies and stuff going under here. This is probably part of the steering mechanism. And there's a part of steering arm there. And then we've got these tie downs going in. So that's all looking good. That's for transportation, for tying it down. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. All repeating, all the same again. Okay. And then we've got the tie downs going in there. And then here we've got the suspension capping going in, which we fitted back. Where did we fit? We haven't fitted that yet. So that's D28. Okay, and then we've turned it round. So that's what was on the other side. That's what I couldn't understand there. So fit that on, and then we're going to turn it around and we're going to fit that one on. And then we've got the base plate going into the floor there. Remember, this is amphibious, so it's got to be all sealed. There's lots going on, isn't there? It's very nice. And then we've got all our hubs in here. We're fitting disc brakes onto them. And then we've got grab handles, hold handles. We've got towing eyes, and then the windows are going in. Nice to see the windows are fitted from the outside. Looks like they've got integral moulded in windscreen wipers. And then here we've got those antenna bases. I've got this roof piece going on here. So just worth remembering that roof piece covers that area there. So we've got little bits and pieces, towing eyes and everything. There's a pin tool going on. We've got bits and pieces going on to the back end here. We've got, is that water or fuel? I'm not sure. We've got tools going on. And then here, stowed position for driving, open position for swimming. So I'm guessing that's some sort of water deflector. So so if it's driving, it's like that, and if it's swimming, it's like that. So it's a water deflector to stop the water coming up over the windscreen. Got hatches going on there, which can be positioned opened or closed. Remember, you've got a fully detailed interior, so you have to give that some consideration. Side panels going on here, and then the stiffeners going on, and then the rear end going on there. So this area here is like a stowage area where we've got a couple of jerry cans or water containers, whatever they are. Wheels going together, tyres coming together. I've noted from other people's reviews, they've got lovely lettering on the tyres. The wheels are plastic and not vinyl, which to me is a bonus, but to some people will not be a bonus. The resin, aftermarket people will be all over this in days. There will be resin wheels available for it. So mud flaps, mud guards, whatever you want to call them. We've got some rear lights going in here. Then we've got this clear mesh piece. So you've got a piece here to build it up, and then you're going to take that out, I think. I don't think that becomes part of the build. Oh yes, it does. So they've done this mesh as a clear part, which I'm not over the moon with. I'll probably replace it with a little bit of photo etch. And then we've got the headlights going in here, sitting down in front of the wheels. And then we've got is that a snorkel or no, that is a light, it's a spotlight going on the top. And then we've got a central piece going in there, and then we can build up the canvas cover and drop that on should we want to, or you might want to leave it without the canvas cover on. And then we've got our colour call outs. So we've got the version A, so we're in matte bronze green. I can't remember the colour for bronze green. I think, is it XF26? I'm not sure. I'll have to come back to you on that one. We've got all our matte rust here for the exhaust, gloss bright red. You can see it's a very, very British looking vehicle with its black camouflage. And then here we've got another version here from 1981 West Germany, again with a different camouflage pattern, but basically the same colours. And then this one here, as we mentioned earlier, from England in Wiltshire, just up the road from me, 1969. And this one's just got the canvas and the green, no black camouflage. So as you can see, it's a very, very interesting vehicle. One of those vehicles, you need to make sure that when you build it, you get all 6 wheels on the ground. If you haven't got all 6 wheels touching the ground, it just looks awful. And you probably will have seen one already with the wheel up in the air. And also, it's worth checking your references. Did they flat spot the tyres? Were the tyres pumped up to such a massive pressure that they didn't flat on the bottom? Some people go over the top with their flat spotting of tyres. So there we are. So that's the instructions looked at. So now we need to have a look at the kit. Now, here we go. This is my first look at the sprues, and my first impressions. I really do wish Airfix, please stop doing this. All these sprues are just chucked in a bag, and as you can see, we've got lots of parts loose in there. They've broken off the sprues. What is wrong with putting the sprues in individual bags? Or at least, as one of the reviewers mentioned, seal the bag here. Okay, seal the bag there, right? And then the sprues can't, because the box is not the same size as the sprues. So it can do this in the box in transportation, and it will, because it just will. That's the way it is, okay? But at least if it was all sealed up tightly together, all it would do is that. But the way it is, it can all do this. The sprues can actually slide on top of each other, and that's when parts get damaged and broken. So there we go. That's my first tip to Airfix. Come on, guys, revise your packaging. It's 2025. It's not 1970 anymore. Come on, please. You know, you've done it with your other stuff. Do it with this. Right. So I'm taking these parts out of this bag. We've got our clear parts there, so we'll put them separate. Look at all the loose parts here. So let's just give this a shake. So we've got 2 parts loose there. So there's ejector tabs coming off. I'm just going to stuff that back in the box over there. So this is the toolbox that goes in the cab. Okay, so this is the toolbox that goes in the cab. And on first impressions, I am absolutely amazed. Everything I've seen, this toolbox has great big sink marks in it, but mine doesn't. So are we going to get a really good review? There's, oh, that's full of sink marks. There's half of a jerry can or water container, whatever it is, but they were loose in the box. So I'm going to do these as they come out of the bag. So this is frame A, as it happens. I'm not going to be doing this A, B, C, D or anything. So here we go. So this is frame A, and this is the one that I've seen other people having mega problems with the sinkage and stuff. And I must be honest, this one doesn't look too bad. A certain amount of shrinkage on kits like this is not an issue because it's all sheet metal and it probably wouldn't be dead flat, especially after a couple of years of use and abuse. So yeah, but this is looking like we do have sink marks in it. Okay, so we've got the sides here, we've got the top, we've got the front and the back, whichever is which. There's the panel for the windscreen there. There's the inside of the cab on the inside. Remember, this panel here is going to go over that, so that's worth bearing in mind. We've got the base plate here, we've got our hatches, we've got the side panels for the bodywork, and we've got the actual, there's the floor. You can see the cab interior bit is in there. So yeah, all looking very nice. Now, as I said, I was expecting to see really bad shrinkage like I've seen in other reviews, or at least one of them. And it looks like I've been lucky because this one, you can see we've got some shrinkage here and we've got some here and the same here, but it's nothing like as bad as the other ones I've seen. And the thing is, down here it would be very easy to repair because you could just paint some Mr. Surfacer on, sand it back, job done. And as you can see on the roof here, we have some shrinkage here along the front. As I say, this panel here covers that up. So I'm not really too bothered about that. We've got a little bit here, which will be easy to sort. It's basically what basically happens, the plastic is injected into the tool and runs and fills the tool. As you can see, let's just use this panel here as an example. We have a pretty uniform thickness over the panel, but we've got these ribs down the side. So basically, if you think about it, if you cut this in half here and looked at it end on, you've got a consistent panel thickness here, and then you've got a thicker section there where those ribs are down the side. Thicker plastic means more shrinkage, because basically the plastic will shrink 2%, 1%, whatever. Okay, so you think about it, if this here is 1 millimeter thick, and let's say it shrinks by 10%, it probably wouldn't, that's ridiculous, but let's just say it shrunk by 10%, this area here is going to shrink back by 0.1 millimeters. Okay, so that will be 0.1 millimeters thinner than it would be if it hadn't shrunk at all. This area here is, say, 3 millimeters thick, so that's going to shrink by 0.3 millimeters. So that's why you're seeing that shrinkage. It's very, very slight. Okay, it's very slight, but it is there. But it's easy to repair. Paint over it with some Mr. Surfacer, sand it back. This area in here would be a little bit more difficult because you've got the rivets around the window, but I think you'd probably get away with it because with a coat of matte paint on there, it's not going to show. And certainly I have been very lucky compared to what I've seen online. So there we are. We have a little bit of shrinkage here on the end, but again, easy to repair, easy to repair. But I'm kind of asking myself, why have Airfix done this in green plastic? Because we know that, you know, with the Gannet, with the Sea King, with the Jaguar, with the Lysander, they've been beautiful. Why change? Why have they gone for this green plastic? I just don't get it. I don't get it. I'd love to know why. It just seems crazy. Anyway, I hope that... I wonder if that's the reason. There's that exhaust come off. I wonder if that's the reason why we've got all this shrinkage problem. But there we go. So, on these panels here, outsides are lovely. Insides have shrinkage. Again, easy to repair. Not making excuses, but they could also be covered in ejector pin marks, and we'd be saying easy to repair because it's a flat panel. We do have ejector pin marks on a lot of these panels, but I believe, like for instance this here, okay, none of these ejector pin matters because it's going to go down like this. Same here with this floor section, that's going to sit on top of there. These ejector pin marks here are going to be covered by equipment, so they have done some thinking out of the box, and they've put their ejector pins where they don't really matter. This panel here, I believe that is going to go, yes, that's going to go onto there like that. So those ejector pin marks there don't matter. Okay, so when you see people complaining about great big ejector pin marks, don't worry about it. If you're covering them up, it doesn't matter. Here we got the same. This is this panel that's this floor infill here, so they don't matter. But this here, you've got a raised edge around there. Is that raised edge? Or is it, I think it's actually flush. Just paint over that, sand it flat, job done. Yeah? Or just leave it. It's stressed skin, you know, the metal's deformed or whatever. Same here, you've got this, that could be wood, I'm thinking. So, you know, fill that, sand it, it's dead flat, it's easy, it's child's play to fill all that. So, yeah. So here we have sprue, which is this one, this is sprue D. And here you can see we've got all our drive shafts here. We've got all our wheels down the middle, all our shock absorbers, all the tie downs. Nice to see they've got the sprue gate on the inside so you don't have to worry about sanding it all nice and getting it all nice and smooth. Very nice indeed. Wheel centers there, and then we've got all our swivels here for our steering. I don't know why they tell us not to glue them in when the ends of the shafts are going to be glued into the chassis. We've got all our chassis supports here, suspension support should I say, and there's all our torsion bars there. So it's obviously torsion bar suspension on this one, just like it is on a Maz, on a big Maz Russian truck. So there we go, there's the frame there for the spoiler for the front end. I'm thinking, is it or not? There's two of them, so probably not. So, yeah, very nice. These are moulded in halves, so you're going to have a seam to deal with if you're worried about it, because you're probably going to cover it in mud and dirt. And they're going to be behind the wheels anyway. So here we have the canvas top, and there's that central support beam. And this is looking very, very nice indeed. We've got the stress marks in the skin there, or stretch marks, not stress marks, stretch marks, where the canvas is being pulled. So that's all very nice. Ejector pin marks on the inside. If you're fixing this on, they don't matter. If you're going to have it off. If you're going to have this removed, then you might want to deal with them, but that won't be a problem. You just sand them out because it doesn't matter how they finish on the inside. You could also put some texture on the outside if you wanted to, cover it in some tissue or something. And then here we've got this tiny little sprue here. This is sprue E. Now that's very interesting because all of the other... Oh no, they do have it. Sorry, I didn't see it. I've been looking here. Frame G. That's frame G. I didn't notice the big G on there. Like I didn't notice the big D on there. Sorry guys. I've been looking at the lettering on here. So this is frame E. Again, you can see parts on here wanting to come off. That's wanting to come off anyway. We've got a little shovel here. We've got the pick and its handle. We've got radio gear here. And then what does that say on there? They are water containers. So yeah, they're water containers. So they're in halves. Like I say, the aftermarket will be all over this, and there'll be photo etch and resin and everything. We've got fire extinguishers here. So they're very nice. So all in all, it's looking lovely. And then here we have, oops, there's our other exhaust falling off the sprues. Airfix, will you please stop putting all your sprues in one bag? I mean, we're lucky. I'm looking, we've got some very, very fine parts here. And with all these sprues just bagging around with each other, I can't believe there's not more damage. And there's another part there just ready to fall off. There we go. I can't believe there's not more damage. Really, this another ejector post come off. But we've got all these fine parts here. They could easily be wrecked. And then, you know, you've got to contact Airfix, and they've got to send you out replacement parts or replacement sprue, whatever. So if they're doing the one bag to save the environment, then they're not really doing much to save the environment, because if I now phone them up and say I want a replacement sprue because all my parts are damaged, then they've got to use a cardboard box, a plastic bag, some bubble wrap, some sellotape, pay the money, send me it out, all the you know, the fuel that's Royal Mail are used to deliver it and everything. It's not green, guys. Just put them in separate bloody bags, please. And wrap them up nice and tight so they don't get damaged. Every other manufacturer, except for Revell, does it. Nobody else puts all their parts in one bag. especially on a complex kit like this. So anyway, there's our seat bases in there, seat back there. There's some checker plate there. I'm assuming that's going to be steps to get in. There's your front there for the that's the deflector for the water. And it's nice to see that Airfix have got license from Goodyear. So we've got Goodyear there on the tyres. So they're going to look lovely. As I say, there will be resin replacements with loads of other lettering and stuff on them if they actually had them in real life. But as I say, have a check before you start buying DEF model resin wheels with sag tyres and all that. Check your references. These might not have had sag tyres. It's like the Mazes, they don't really have sag tyres when they're in use. So there we go. We've got a lovely sort of array of bottles, and I'm assuming this is brake fluid and water canisters for the truck. But no, instrument panel's looking lovely. See, the instrument panel there is very nice indeed. So yeah, on the whole, I'm really impressed with this toolbox because I saw the Key Model Works one, and there's a massive sink marks in the side, and Moss's did as well. But this one, it's like it needs a little bit of Mr. Surfacer, a quick sand over, job done. So probably the thing to do with this kit is, before you start, is take the parts that have got the sink marks, paint them with some Mr. Surfacer, and then leave it for a couple of days to dry. Paint it with some Mr. Surfacer 500, leave it for a couple of days to dry, and then you know, like on here, paint that over there, and then just give it a quick sand back. And I mean, this is going to be on the inside of the cargo bay anyway, so if you're using the canvas roof, none of it's going to be seen, so don't worry about it. But yeah, now I've been lucky. Okay, we can see in here on this side panel, we can see we have some sink marks in there, which to all intents and purposes, it's 2025, we shouldn't have them. But sink marks at this level, I mean, this is, if you remember, if you look back, I did a review on the 1/48 scale Tamiya KT, the K2 ambulance, and that's covered in sink marks as well. So, you know, not all manufacturers are perfect, even Tamiya, but this is in no way unbuildable. It looks absolutely fine to me, and as I say, easily repairable. But there we go. Oh, clear parts. I almost forgot the clear parts. What are they like? So here we are. Clear parts look very nice. They're a little bit sort of wavy. Look there, you can see they're a little bit wavy. They're not dead flat, but they're crystal clear for sure. They've got wipers moulded on, which is a little bit disappointing in 35th scale. But, you know, mask them off, paint them, they're going to look absolutely fine. You're going to have dust on the windows anyway. But I really would have liked to have seen the wipers made as separate parts. Because that way then the aftermarket can jump all over it and make resin or photo etch wipers, and you can add them. They did it on the Gannet, they did it on the Sea King. You know, they could have given us the option to use these or not, use the moulded parts or not, and I wish they had. But you know, because to cut those off and file and sand it and get it smooth is going to be a nightmare. Don't forget, when you use these, go around with the black magic marker before you glue them in, just so they look, you don't have that chrome. You can see on here, if where my finger is now, if I turn it in the light, you can see it becomes chrome on the edge, and you will see that on the model if you don't go on with the black magic marker. But yeah, they're going to have to be masked and painted. But I'm sure somebody will come out with a mask set for this, and they'll incorporate the wiper blade with the mask set. Someone like Art Scale Kit will do it, and they will be perfect. The masks will be beautiful. So there we are. Right, overall, for packaging, it's like, at least they put it in a bag, unlike Heller do, so I got to give them 2 out of 10. For quality, I have to speak as I find, as my kit is. Just look at the back of these hatches. Yeah, they got ejector pin marks in them there, so they'll have to be dealt with, which won't be easy. It's a shame, they could have got away with not having those there. Yeah, so packaging, I have to give them 2 out of 10. I would give them 1 out of 10, but Heller get 1 out of 10 for their awful, awful packaging parts wrapped up in tissue, which is terrible. At least they put the clear parts in a separate bag, so there's 3 out of 10, I guess. Kit design is really, really good, I think. Very, it's not overcomplicated and it's not oversimplified, so it looks like it will build into a beautiful model. The shrinkage, I'm not happy about, but you know, not every manufacturer is perfect, and any manufacturer can release a kit with shrinkage. Any manufacturer, like I say, even Tamiya. Go back and have a look at my 148th review. So overall, I'm very, very pleased that I haven't got a kit that's as bad as everyone else's, or some others, should I say. But sure enough, I wish I had a kit that was perfect. So there we go. I'm sure Airfix will up the game. They will make some changes, and they may even come out with something apologising or whatever, because I think there's going to be a lot of people complaining about very, very poor mould quality. But it may just be that there's 1 or 2 bad ones out there. Who knows? We won't know until a few months' time, and then we get the reports. There will be many people out there that will be saying this is absolutely amazing and it's incredible because they love Airfix. Likewise, there will be many people out there will be absolutely shouting their heads off on their keyboards and going mental because it's Airfix, and straight away because it's Airfix they hate it because they hate Airfix. I'm kind of middle of the road. I don't really take any, you know, just because it's Airfix doesn't mean it's good or bad. You know, like I say, the version I've got here, this hasn't been specially selected. This hasn't been sent to me by Airfix. I bought it from Jadlam, so I'm free to say what I want. Well, you know, I'd say what I want anyway. But I'm really impressed with it. I think it'll build into a beautiful little model, and I think it'll be a very unusual looking little thing to have on your display. And I'd like to have this and have it stood next to my short wheelbase Land Rover that I built out of a long wheelbase from Hobby Boss a few years ago. If you haven't seen that, go and have a look. That was a lot of work, and I made a short wheelbase Land Rover Defender. It'll sit lovely with this. That's bronze green as well. So anyway, there we go. That has been a review of this little beauty. I'm going to turn the light off. This is the brand new Airfix Alvis FV622 Stalwart Mark II, and I, for one, am impressed. I think it looks lovely. It's a lovely looking kit, and I think it'll build into a beautiful model. So watch this space, because you will see a build of it on here. Thank you for watching, guys. I will see you all soon. Bye for now.